And we are live.
It's happening.
It is happening. Not quite the way we normally envision it, but it is happening.
Yeah, well, I'm massive on the screen, by the way, so
I
that's
know.
awesome.
Yeah, you
I
are
am
going to be
taking up the
front and
space.
center.
That's all right.
Front and center. Nothing
I had
I
a
can do
haircut
about
today,
that.
so, I'm all...
That's good. Nice. Freshly trimmed. I took a shower, but I did not shave.
The stubble looks nice. I mean, it counteracts my lack of stubble.
That's what I was going for.
Yeah, this is 5 days worth of non-shaving.
That's good. That's good. Well, we may get Mark midstream or not. I don't know. But let's podcast. Here we go.
Let's do this.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to episode 332 of your official podcast of the G4TE.com community. That is the Overseas Connection, a gateway to a mature gaming community. I'm just one of your hosts, Greg DeLacy, gamertag Murphy's Law, OC_Murphy's Law on Twitter. And in the other seat, the gigantic window other seat for the podcast today, Mr. Richard Webster, Mr. PC himself.
Hi, Greg. Hi, listeners. Richard Webster, a.k.a. Big Bad Daddy, from the OC's Connection podcast and other things. I'm here to podcast tonight, Greg. We've got some good news coming this week. Post Gamescom, there's a few things going on, a few challenges. We've got a nice giveaway later as well for the listeners. So it's a whatever.
So whatever. We don't want
whatever. Yeah.
We're
I'm trying to read the news at the same time as talk, and I can't do it. I don't know how people do it.
Yes.
With someone in their ear.
You can't read the news and talk at the same time, Rich. So Mark Wright, Marcanix, supposed to be on the podcast today. Technical difficulties basically ensued literally as we were getting ready to come on tonight. So we are hoping he might be able to join midstream, but Apple technology has failed him, and I would
As
just
it's
like
failed us all.
Yeah, absolutely. Not that Windows technology or even Linux is any guarantee of success, but I will just go back to my stance of don't use Apple.
Yeah, don't. Yeah. Just Android all the way.
Android is the future.
The future is Android.
Yeah. I have an Android phone right here.
There you go. Android brothers. We'll get matching bracelets.
WhatsApp with Mark right now. He's crying. He's severely sad. He's failing in technology.
He's looking at his receipt going, all of this money, and yet I cannot go on Skype.
He was all excited because he's got his audio stuff working, so he can do his soundboard stuff, and we can do the intro music, and everything makes great. No, Mike Chin has not jumped on to save the day, sadly. I tried to bring Mike Chin on, but Mike Chin ignored me. So, yeah, just you and me, Rich. This is just going to be a quiet little love affair. Two men talking video games.
That's
later,
how it's meant to be. That's how God intended.
Yes. Later we'll share a bubble bath, maybe some spirits.
We will.
Totally non-sexual though.
Not in any way sexual.
Yeah.
All
right. Well,
do you know what I didn't do this week, Greg? I didn't play Fallout Shelter.
You did not play Fallout Shelter, even though it came to Android.
It came to Android, and as you can see by my screen, I don't know if you can see it quite with the focus, but next to my Pokédex app is the Fallout Shelter app, which I just haven't played. I don't know why. It's been one of them weeks. We had a chemical spill near work, so a near-death experience.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So chemical spill at your work. I mean, we will get to talking video games shortly. We are trying to stall a little bit for time because now I'm hoping.
Well, I can stall for a bit. I can story time.
Yeah, let's talk. You had this big incident happened at work.
Yes.
It was pretty dangerous. I mean, chemicals in the air. The police coming, telling you can't leave the building. You were on lockdown.
Yes.
Were you locked down in a bathroom? I forgot where you were at, or was it just a small office? I remember you were telling it was not a big room.
Yeah, it was. Let's say big room. It was a fairly large size office. There was about maybe 2 or 3 dozen people in the office. The story goes, I work for a chemical company now. I'm not going to get the sack because the spill wasn't actually our fault.
That's good.
the irony of it is, on the one chemical company on this trading estate was not to blame for the chemical spill. We don't know exactly who it was, but basically about 10:30 in the morning, I was going for my morning cigarette break, and the boss comes out of the door because I was outside on the front underneath the bus shelter thing, and then she comes out and says, "Richard, you've got to come inside now." And I thought, shit, what have I done? Am I not allowed ciggy breaks anymore?
Right.
What's going on? So I got inside, and there was these electricians there because they were doing something with the lights that morning, and they were putting stuff in their van outside the door as well. And she asked them to come inside. And I went inside, and she said, "Richard, there's been an emergency. You've got to come inside." And she said the same thing to the electricians. So we got in, and then the sales manager was walking around telling everybody that there's been a chemical spill up the road, and everyone has been told to stay inside and don't go outside.
Right, and you hear chemical spill, and I mean, my immediate thoughts are, something's in the air that I'm going to breathe in and die.
Yeah, like fucking cyanide or something like that. And it was like, right, windows are shut, air conditioning system goes off, and everyone was like, whoa, what the hell's going on? Within about 5 minutes, the police turned up and cordoned off all the roads. The fire brigade turned up, so no traffic was going through the little village thing that I work in. The electricians were really pissed off because they were packing their van to leave. They were actually on their way out. And they'd finished for the day, 10:30, early finish. It was like, yeah, we'll go home and we'll go watch the football. So they had to get back inside as well. And we basically had to stay in the office till 4 p.m. All through this time, we saw smoke coming out of the drains, like the grids in the road outside. So all this like smoke was coming out. We were like, what the fuck's that? And then this orange smoke started coming and stuff. And we assumed it was like smoke bombs that the fire department have put down the drain to see where the drain goes to. Because the spill had actually been down one of the sewers or one of the drains. And they were walking around with the gas masks on for hours and hours. And then about 4 o'clock, they told us that they discovered that it was chlorine that had been poured into the drain, which had reacted and caused chlorine gas, which isn't actually that harmful. So
yeah, but it's not exactly something that you want to be breathing in large doses.
Oh no, definitely not. So it was safe to be inside, but basically 5 hours on, it had kind of dispersed. So they said it's safe to come out. So I think what we think is that there's a company somewhere that's tipped chlorine down the drain from a barrel or from a tanker or something like that. And it was on the news. The Runcorn Witness News website was on it. The Cheshire Police were tweeting about it. Environmental Health were there. So it was quite a big deal. And we thought it was like the end of the world. I mean, I don't know, but I was just, pillaging. I was just looting the vending machine.
Looting that's right. You did manage to. Now, did you loot or were you given a Kit Kat? I need clarification on this. My previous understanding was the employer had given everybody Kit Kats, but now I'm starting to think maybe you were a looter and you pulled a Kit Kat.
No, we were giving a Kit Kat as a recompense for not being able to go outside.
Which is just awesome. You're kept indoors, locked down, threat of potential death, and here, have a Kit Kat.
Yeah, I mean, when the sales manager come round at 4 o'clock to give us the news that it was over, he said the Environmental Health have discovered that it was chlorine, which isn't something we have. So woohoo! They could definitely not say it's us. So we were like, all right, because when they said chemical spill at first, we thought, shit, what have we done? Because there's there's a residential area like 50 feet from our building. So we were quite shocked at first, and we were thinking the worst. And there was a smell because there's these air conditioning units, but on one side it's like an old fan type thing, and so we could. It was fine though. It's all good. Everybody got to go home, but I had Netflix on ready for 5 o'clock because we thought, right, if we're gonna be in after 5, we're watching Breaking Bad. That's it. That's what's gonna happen. So that was quite fun. And I survived, and I've got I can't really explain it, but I've got like a new respect for life.
A new respect for life. Well, I mean, you faced imminent death.
I did. I faced death right in the face.
Right, with a Kit Kat bar.
With a Kit Kat bar and my controller. I think playing games prepared me for things like that. Things like Call of Duty and Battlefield, where they have these like industrial things go on and these chemical warfare and whatever.
Right.
I think it kind of prepares you for that. So I think when the apocalypse comes, I'll be ready.
It sounds like it. You are ready. You have your go bag, which is going to be filled with Kit Kats.
Kit Kats
And
all that stuff. I'll make sure I've got lots of cigarettes. But yeah, that was the thing. There was a lady who works in the office, and she was crawling the walls, not being able to go for a cigarette. Literally, she had nicotine chewy out.
Yeah.
All sorts.
Well, I remember we were talking. You were kind of like, "This is getting to be long, and I haven't had a ciggy break in a while." So.
Yeah, it's just because I'm a man of routine. You know,
Right.
I go at certain times, and because I couldn't, and I had to do like shit work. It's just it's annoying.
Now, were they making you guys work? Well, I mean, I apologize. I don't specifically know quite what you do within the company. So, I mean, were you able to work, or was it kind of like everybody would just chilled?
Well, what I actually do there is I'm the face of the company. I'm actually the spokesperson stroke hand model. So I do all the promotions. I get naked and bathe in like chlorine safe water, and they take pictures.
Chlorine safe water.
Yeah, and they take pictures. So I mean, I was working non-stop. To be honest, I was in the tub, just like taking pictures of me, like look left, look right, and I was like,
it's all starting to make sense.
Yeah, no, I do reports and stuff. But yeah, we all had to work. We weren't told to work through our dinner, but anyone who wanted to go out and get food couldn't. So we were rationing out cup of soups.
Rationing out cups of soup.
Cups of soup and stuff like that.
Okay, all right. I believe Mark has dialed in from his phone.
Yes, I am here. It may sound crap, but I'm here. Bloody computers.
Yes. Mark, we love computers, right?
Yeah.
At least you have your
not
profile
today.
picture up, so we can see you with your. I mean, it's quite honestly, it's better than your standard picture. So, at least there's that, right?
Yeah.
Mark, welcome to the show, Mark. We have just been talking
Thank
about
you.
Richard's near-death experience and,
Oh, yeah.
and his newfound resilience and ability to survive disasters with just a Kit Kat bar.
I told him not to flush that bloody toxic shit down the toilet after he's had that Vindaloo curry.
Telling you. All right, Mark Hanix, Mark Wright, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Let's talk about Apple products, Mark, and Apple failing you when it comes to Skype.
It's not the Apple product. I got hacked, didn't I, this week?
That's
and
true.
I think it's
You
that.
did.
It must be that. I don't know. But every time I try to connect to a call, it crashes. So it's never happened before, and it's weird. So I'm gonna have to look into that.
I would suggest, especially before next podcast. That's my biggest suggestion. Now, have you also changed your password from password? Did we clarify this yet?
Yeah, I changed it to 1234.
Oh, perfect. Perfect.
Yeah,
That is absolute security. Maybe a capital 1 and a lowercase 1.
No, that's too hard. That Greg, it's too hard for the hackers. Hacksaws need to be able to get in.
Right. All right. Let's move forward with the show proper, if we can. I don't even know if we can at this point. The show is off to a fantastic start, a crazy start. Speaking of crazy things, I wanted to just a couple quick shout outs to some recent Twitch followers. Pull my finger 77. Saladane, I think that's how you say it, Saladane. Anyway, if I'm not saying it properly, I apologize. Marlboro HD. Rich, you might get along with him. Just saying.
Probably.
And Sumu99. Almost like Fumu, but Sumu.
I think it's his doppelganger evil twin.
Yeah.
It could be.
He sent me a friend request on PlayStation quite a while ago. And I says, "Oh, you a relative of Fumu then?" And he went, "No." I says, "Yeah, bollocks, you're having me on. It's Fraser, isn't it?" And he went, "No, it ain't. No, I'm called Christian Barkley. I don't know who Fraser is." So yeah, it's weird how he's got Sumu and Fraser's got Fumu. So.
Yeah, what is the Fumu thing? Do we know what that is? Fumu? Is there a meaning behind it? We have to ask him one of these days.
I think it's just like short for Fraser Moores. It's like Fumu.
That makes way too much sense, Rich. If I had stopped to think about that, I probably could have come to that conclusion as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rich, last week we had a very embarrassing moment on the podcast.
I listened.
yeah.
Yes.
A new listener, Shannon, he had emailed us in, and sadly, we had some preconceived notions before the podcast on Shannon's gender, and we were correctly or rightfully corrected mid-podcast, but unfortunately, damage was done. We have an email from Shannon. This is in response to last week's podcast. I had let him know by all means, if he wanted to read us the riot act, to come in and send threatening messages, we would happily read on air. So we got an email from Shannon. Would you please do the honors, Rich?
Yes, sure. Please don't let Shannon know what I was saying about him in the WhatsApp before the show.
Oh no, we already embarrassed ourselves enough. I included Mark's his pre-show commentary on Shannon's gender in the outtakes.
Oh no!
Yeah. Oh, she's a lady.
Oh no!
So yeah.
So the email from Shannon, he goes, not going to read you any riot act. Rather, I'm just going to thank Fraser for the correction. Nicole, good luck with the search for a sugar daddy. I work 60 plus hours a week for my wife to be an at-home mom. I have a few other friends who do the same for their wives, so I know guys like us exist out there. So there's hope yet.
You're a good man, Shannon. You are a good man.
Yeah. One question this week. What are your best, maybe worst, potty training stories with your kids? We are about to start with my son, and I'm terrified of what I'll be coming home to each day. Keep it classy, Mr. Shannon.
Mr. Shannon. Well, I will quickly start off on the potty training. So, my son, he does have some special needs. So potty training hasn't come into play yet. I certainly have had my fair share of just incidents revolving around excrement. I've been thrown up on publicly by my son, so there's those moments, but nothing potty training wise. So I can't really speak to that. Rich, anything with your little one?
I can't really remember, to be honest. Those nappies and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Nappies.
Nothing crazy. Mark, what about you, Mark? Anything you can recall?
No, not potty training wise. It's quite a while ago now since mine were doing potty training.
Right.
I do. But there is one thing what sticks in my mind which I will never ever forget, and that is with both my little ones when they were first born. I got the honours of doing the very first ever nappy.
Right.
Now, those who have done this know what I'm talking about.
Should we clarify what a nappy is, by the way? Because a
diaper.
Yeah, a diaper. It's, for our I was going to say for our English listeners, but, our American listeners, they might not know what a nappy is.
For our American listeners who like to distort the Queen's English, it is a diaper. But yeah, so the very first poo the baby does, it is like black tar treacle.
Yes. Yeah.
It is horrible. And I got both of them to do.
And I would just like to point out, how does that happen? Because, especially as a baby, they're either drinking milk or formula, both of which, last time I looked, had no blackness to them. None.
No, but this is before they've even had I suppose they've had an initial feed, I suppose, but this is when they're like hours old.
Right.
The mum's still resting after the sort of like easy job of giving birth.
Easy job of giving birth.
Yeah. Give you all the hate mail. Yeah, it's like shelling peas, isn't it? Yeah. Pop, out it comes. But yeah. That first nappy is horrendous. Well, and that's what sticks in my mind.
Yeah. So we missed that one for our side. I mean, my son went into the NICU unit pretty quick, so we didn't have the joy of that. But I do recall just those early diaper days, and it was just like, where does this come from?
Yeah.
Because seriously, everything going in was creamy white or white, and everything coming out not the same color. Speaking of labor, by the way, I was driving to the gym the other day, and I look over to my left, and there's a hospital right near my gym, and I look over to the left, and there's a woman and a man in the car, and at first I thought they were fighting because the woman has her back fully turned to him, like, I don't want to talk to you. And I'm trying to be inconspicuous, but now I'm like, okay, are they fighting? So I'm like, kind of, looking. Oh, totally, just looking over. And suddenly I notice she's doing this. She's, and he's like, it's okay. And I'm like, oh, she's having a baby. And then she looks right at me. We lock eyes, and I just start smiling like, yeah. And she just buries her head in the back of the car seat like, I do not want to see anybody. Yeah. I hope it all turned out fine. Anyway.
I was
I'm
thinking
the
of
name,
just
Greg.
I was just going to shout out the Twitch viewers.
Yes, please do, Rich.
Just a bit of housekeeping. The viewer list keeps changing. People don't leave, but the names just so. Adam SK, D86, Young Batch is here tonight. Captain Kirk has dropped on to say hello. We have a new viewer called Not a Troller. He might be a troller.
A troller or a trawler?
I think it's troller.
Okay, sure.
Like internet troll. He says he's not a troller. And usually when people say they're not something, they usually are. Like I say I'm not a knob.
Right.
I am a knob.
Yeah.
and Step J popped on, but I don't know if he's still here because the Twitch thing just keeps changing. And I'm in the Twitch chat as well, Greg.
Okay. Excellent.
Yes.
Well, we'll keep an eye on that. But thank you, everybody, for listening. And of course, if you were listening to this on iTunes right now, you can come and listen to us live. We've switched our days up, so if you're listening to this and you're used to us podcasting on Friday nights, we've switched gears a little bit, and we've been testing out Saturdays. For the foreseeable future, I think we're going to continue with Saturdays, see how that works. That will lend itself to other people hosting a little more regularly, so get your A game on. Yeah.
It also frees up your time because you've joined a cabaret crew.
Yes.
Rehearses on a Friday.
Right, and we're going to be traveling nationally, cabaret crew. Yes, thank you for that.
Like the WWE, different venue every week.
Yeah. Yep. That's and it's totally real sports.
So how did the dress fitting go, Greg? Did it work all right?
It's a little tight. Got to let it out in the waist a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not
of course, it pulls the belly in, doesn't it?
It does make me look svelter, sure, but I certainly don't fit into my old cheerleading outfit anymore. So yeah. All right. Let's talk video. Well, actually, I almost forgot to say, if you want to listen to us live, just go to your browser, type in live.g4te.com, and if it's on our live broadcasting time, you'll magically find us on here online, talking away, talking video games, talking pregnancy, talking poop. We talk about it all. But primarily, we try to talk about video games. That is the main thing. So speaking of video games, let's talk some video games. Rich,
Yes.
You and I have been playing quite a bit of The Witcher 3. So let's talk Witcher 3. Where were you at? Well, we'll try and keep things spoiler-free for the most part. I mean, The Witcher 3, it's not exactly a new game, but it's still very new. Less than, 3 months old. So about 3 months old. So we'll try to keep spoilers to a min.
Yeah. Well, are we classing the first area as an area?
Yeah, because it's interesting. The Witcher 3 has kind of this really kind of extended tutorial, which really is a region of the game that you'll be able to go back to and explore. I found myself doing it when I started trying to complete out some quests that I had kind of skipped past. But you will also find the rewards, the experience rewards, become far less because as you rank up, those easier missions will reward you less.
Yeah.
So I found that a little bit interesting because getting two experience points for completing a mission was kind of a low light.
Yeah, that's a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah, it made me realize that maybe these are not worth going back and doing.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually in the second area of the game. For anyone who's not familiar, it's very much like Fable in the world is set out as regions
Right.
rather than a complete open world. However, the lands are massive compared to Fable. The world is very much like Red Dead Redemption
Right.
in that in the beginning you can go through the Texas area, and then the next area opens up and it's Mexico and it's a big place, and Blackwater opens up and that's a big place. Spoilers for Red Dead Redemption. Except in The Witcher it's closed off, so you can't. There's no seamless.
Interesting thing about that, Rich. It technically is. So I struggle with The Witcher's map system a little bit. The way it works, when you're pulled out in the very far back view, right? You have Skellig, which is a series of islands off to the very far left. Then there's Velen, Novigrad, something and something and something and something. So there's like four regions, and then there's Skellig off to the left. And you see them all when you pull back out, right? And you can fast travel to them as long as you're at a fast travel post. Yeah. But when you zoom back into the map, if you pull the map view back just before it pops you back out into that big open overworld view, you could then actually scroll that map and actually scroll all the way to Skellig. You can get to the islands. You can see the islands in that map view. You can go all the way to Novigrad. So I'm thinking you can literally travel by horse, by hook or crook, and never actually have to go into that big open world and actually travel to those other sections. You can just travel to it in game. Yeah. And you won't get loading screens. It'll load behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But it is one big continuous map.
Okay, I haven't tried that yet because I'm only in that second area, Velen. That's where I am.
I found it confusing because when I would pop out to the main view, I was like, well, I think I just saw my waypoint in Novigrad on the map because I was just kind of zooming around the map itself, and I was like, I think I can just travel there, but I thought I had to because I thought I had to go back out into that big hub world. So that was an interesting, kind of an interesting thing. But you also can see when you pop back out in that big overview map, where there's lots of room for them to add additional areas if they want.
Oh yeah, the actual map that they use has got loads of empty space.
Right.
Considering the size of the game, the actual playable area only takes up like a third or maybe a quarter of the total map size of that fictional world that they've created.
Right.
So far, I'm about 14 hours in. I haven't played it much this week with the emergency and the whole, living life to the full thing. I haven't really played many games this week. So I left it at Velen. The first thing I did when I got to Velen was grab a sailing boat and go sailing down the rivers.
I really like sailing.
Yeah, it's brilliant and it controls really easily. So you can just,
One thing
really
I did find frustrating, there's a couple areas that you'll think, because there's like bridges and that are going over the top of the water that you can sail your boat under them, but there's quite a few you can't. And they literally prevent you from being able to sail your boat from one area to another area. And, I would love to boat travel almost all the place because, I really enjoy the mechanics of the boat travel.
Yeah, it's really simple, really easy to control, and it just feels really nice. And it's nice watching the world go by and like you're passing drowners who are underneath the water going all red, and you're like, "Fuck you! I'm off. See you later." So
now, did you know your boat can take damage?
No, I haven't been damaged by my boat yet.
Yeah, your boat can take damage. So if one of those drowners or a harpy or something like that attacks your boat, your boat can take damage. If you crash into things, you'll see your boat will take damage.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't. Yeah. See, I'm a really good sailor, you see, because I had sailing lessons as a kid, so I'm quite good. I actually had sailing lessons in Velen, but that's another story for another time. I'm actually liking The Witcher 3 so far, but I have a problem with people comparing it to Skyrim. Because, for one, it's 4 years difference in technology and stuff. So the people that say it's better than Skyrim is nonsense. That's like saying the PlayStation 3 is better than the PS2. It's like, obviously, It's there's years difference.
Rich, The Witcher 3 is better than Skyrim.
It's not better than Skyrim if Skyrim was made today.
Well, no. I will argue with you in one respect, in that you can't say that with certainty, because we don't know what Skyrim today would look like unless you're going to use Skyrim Online.
I can use some certainty, Greg, because I'm special, and I can say to you, if Skyrim was made today, it would be the best game ever made, just like how Fallout 4 will probably be the best open world game that we've seen in a long time. However, saying that, I also have a problem with people comparing The Witcher 3 to Skyrim from a gameplay perspective, and people saying, "Oh, it's like Skyrim and all this." It's not like Skyrim at all.
Right. I would totally agree.
Not even a little bit. Not even a tiny. The only thing it has in common with the Elder Scrolls is that it's a fantasy setting, and that is it.
Right.
I think this game is more like Fable than it is like Skyrim, and it's more like Red Dead Redemption than it is like Skyrim, and that is a good thing.
Yeah, Red Dead's I think a good comparison.
See, because Red Dead is all about the world, and it's all about the story and the narrative, and you're a character in that world. Whereas the Elder Scrolls is you are in that world. That's what sets the Elder Scrolls apart. And Duke Scath said this on the podcast on the Veteran Gamers the other week, that he doesn't feel as attached to the world when he's playing The Witcher 3 like he does Skyrim, and that's because Skyrim is developed and designed in a way to make it feel like you are actually there. And you can immerse yourself in it from your perspective, and that's what makes that game so great. But at the same time, the Red Dead Redemption hook that The Witcher 3 leans towards is that it's a narrative that you wanna watch.
Right.
You want to see this world unfold with very little interaction. Do you know what I mean? It's like you'll go to a place, you'll hit a few buttons and stuff, but you want to see the story, you want to see what's going on.
Right.
You want to see the landscapes and the settings and see what this world is about. So if anyone's on the fence about The Witcher 3 over like being too Skyrim-y, because some people don't really like RPGs, The Witcher 3 is more like Red Dead Redemption than it is Skyrim. And if you liked Red Dead Redemption, you'll probably like The Witcher 3. Forgetting the fact that the swords and stuff, because let's be honest now, people like, Mike Chin is the first person that comes to head. He thinks like, nerdy, swords and orcs and all that shit. It's like, well, no, because there's a lot of jocks in the world that really like Game of Thrones, and not just because of the anal sex. They really like Game of Thrones because it's cool as fuck. And that's kind of like what The Witcher 3 is. The Witcher 3 makes dorky, nerdy fantasy stuff, which I love, by the way, cool. So if you like Red Dead, if you liked Fable's loose fantasy stuff, that's what The Witcher 3 I think is for me. What do you two think? Because I know you've played a lot of The Witcher 3, and you as well, Mark.
Mark?
Sorry, I thought you were going to go first, Greg. I've played very little of it. I've only played sort of like the intro bit, where you go to the sort of like tavern and you have a game of Gwent. That's as far as I've got. But I do like it. I don't think it plays like Skyrim at all. It's more like a Mass Effect type thing, but with swords.
Yeah, The Witcher 3 really relies heavily on the third person. Well, obviously, it relies solely on the third person view, which Skyrim, to draw that comparison, Skyrim has that option, but you really get the sense when you watch Skyrim in action, it was never really meant for third person view. At least not Skyrim. Maybe the next Elder Scrolls game and maybe Elder Scrolls Online, they've already done it. I don't know, but it always felt like third-person view. It was great, and it was really neat to have, because I like being able to see my character and the armor on myself, but the animations and the way he interacts, or your character interacts with the world around it, I felt in Skyrim you could just tell it wasn't really designed with third-person view in mind. Whereas The Witcher 3, 100%, it's a third-person action game through and through.
By what I've seen of people's activity feed on the Xbox and on Twitch and that, Elder Scrolls Online looks like it's all in third person. I've not seen any first person at all.
It might be. It might be.
No, it can be played in first person, I think. There was gameplay. I've not played it, but I remember early before release they were showing first person gameplay. Right. So unless they changed it, I think you can play that first as well. But that's designed for third person because it's a MMO. They only added first person because so many people were complaining, saying it's not going to be like Elder Scrolls if you're not first person, bro. And the bro was like, "Yo, bro, okay." And the bros added it. It's all about the bros. Soul Brother is in the Twitch. Hello, Soul Brother.
Soul Brother. Every time.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Jackie Wilson or whatever.
Yeah.
What's James Brown?
James Brown.
I get confused. Sure. Yeah.
It happens. Yeah. So Witcher 3. It's good. It's good.
I mean, one thing that it detracted for me, because I went into it with the fantasy idea, is that the world isn't as interactive as it is in a Skyrim type game, and that's why I don't like when it's compared to Skyrim, because it is more Mass Effect, it is more Red Dead, it's more that table and all that stuff on that table. That's the way the designers wanted it to look, and no one's moving it. No one's moving that little pot on that table. That's staying there.
Yeah, but I'm kind of really happy about that, to be honest.
And it's good.
That's one thing I wish it was Skyrim they would dial back a little bit. I don't want to be able to pick up the forks and then the plates and the drinking pots off the table and sell them for junk, because it just ends up I have this giant bag of junk.
Yeah, and that's where Fallout 4 is going to fix that, because you can make that giant bag of junk into all sorts. And I think Elder Scrolls 6 will probably do the same. But The Witcher 3 is very much a sense. For me, it gives me the sense that CD Projekt had an idea of what the world was going to look like and what the story was going to say about, morality and all that sort of stuff. And you are just there as a spectator to press A to go through the story. It's a very, very, very beautiful world, though. You know how that feeling of horse riding in Red Dead Redemption and spinning the camera around and seeing the sunset on the, and all that stuff. And the graphics are beautiful. I mean, I'm playing it on PC, and it's stunning. And I know this isn't me being all, master race. I hate all that shit, but this is the only game this is the only game I can play on PC at 30 frames per second for some reason. It took a little getting used to, because the refresh rate's 60, and I'm used to playing games at 60 frames per second, but I had to drop this to 30 to play it. The reason for that is because at medium to high-ish settings, like whatever the default was and stuff, I was getting about 45, and that wasn't acceptable to me, because there was a bit of when you've got VSync on and stuff, 45, it just doesn't feel good, and there's a bit of hitching and stuff. So I thought, okay, let's drop it to 30, because you can set the game so it's on 30 frames per second. So let's drop it to 30, knock the settings up a bit, so it's on high settings, smooth 30, which is what the consoles play it at. And do you know what? After a couple of minutes, once you adjust, because it is a difference, there is an obvious difference. I play Skyrim Battlefield at 60 frames per second, 10 inches from the screen, so that's what I'm used to. But after a few minutes, you get used to it. And do you know what? This game is fantastic. Smooth as butter at 30 frames per second. I know the consoles struggle, don't they, on some bits from what I've heard, because of fights and big things. It'll drop down a couple of frames, which can be a bit annoying if you notice it.
Yeah, maybe a frame or two. I mean, the Xbox version runs pretty smooth now. They've patched it up a few times now. I think the PS4 also now has more or less done away with its frame rate issues. I want to say 1.07, the patch before this last patch, actually caused the PS4 version to kind of regress a little bit with frame rate, but the new patch 1.08, I guess, addressed that and has brought it back up to more or less being a stable 30. So yeah, I mean, this game, for the most part, it runs smooth. It looks great. I like that it also has, I always get this kind of Game of Thrones vibe from it. And it's just because of the political dealings that Geralt is doing with all the kings. So there's a lot of intrigue in terms of who's doing what and how these relationships interact. And one of the things I will say that The Witcher 3 is really great at, which I didn't see coming. I didn't, trying to think if this is going to be spoilerish or not. And it's not really spoilerish, but I will just say this. There are, when you start out the game, you're in your main quest thread, you're going to see 4, maybe even 5 different main quests that you can be doing, right? And normally in games of this type, the main quest is kind of like the story quest, and then anything secondary is a secondary quest, right? And it doesn't have anything to do with really the main quest, and it's all secondary. In The Witcher 3, and I'm trying to think if I've thoroughly thought this through or not, but there are things that are in the secondary quests that will actually have impact on the main quest, and numerous threads from the main quest will actually kind of filter and bubble into kind of a cohesive story, and I didn't think that was going to happen. I thought all of those different main quest threads at the top that you could take would kind of take you on a different path, so to speak. And they do, but they don't.
Yeah.
So I mean, the game, the story does guide you along. You know, it is there's a progression to the story, but there's a very cool moment, at least for me, where I had this aha moment where I was just like, okay, now I understand why I did so many of those secondary quests. Or I should say, maybe the better way to put it is, I'm glad I did a number of those secondary quests, but I didn't have to do all of them. They definitely were optional.
Yeah.
But because I did X amount of them, and they played into the main story, and I found that really amazing because I did not expect that. So
Yeah, it can be a bit daunting at first with all those quests and stuff, but like you said, I have noticed there's a few little things that go together, and what I like about the stories and stuff in The Witcher, I mean, this is me saying all the good things. There are a couple of things I don't like about the game, which I'll talk about next week, but they're just little, me being a dick, nitpicky things. You see like a windmill,
right,
and you're looking and you think, I don't see any people around that windmill, and it looks a bit busted up. I'm going to go and explore that windmill because that windmill looks like adventure. So you go to that windmill, and there's a little quest, or
right,
environmental storytelling, which is something Todd Howard said in a Fallout 4 video, which is something they do a lot, and I've noticed CD Projekt Red like too as well. There's like damage there, and you think, okay, so something's gone on here like a few years ago, and I think that's cool that happens, and Red Dead does that as well. I haven't noticed, though, any random events, which is something that I think we've been spoiled with Red Dead Redemption, GTA 5, Skyrim, where you'll just be on a road and then there'll be like a woman getting like, not raped, but she'll get attacked and you've got to kill the attacker, and then she's like, thank you, you've saved my life. Not that she'd be like talk like that because she's not a wench, but you know what I mean? Like, because in Red Dead Redemption, you had like the bar brawler raper guy drag the woman out of the thingy, and if you shoot him quick enough, she'll thank you. Or you'll have the woman who's like, please help me on the road, and then you'll get off, and then all the guys will jump out and try and like shoot you and stuff, and she'll be in on it the whole time or whatever. Or that guy, I like the one where like the federals chasing like a convict through the woods or something, just like running at like really slow speed, like, hey, come back here. I haven't noticed anything like that in The Witcher, so I don't know if it happens.
So it's interesting. So I'm trying to think of how Red Dead handled it, but I mean, there are a lot of, I'll say, set pieces that you'll come across, but they're not going to be on your map. You won't know they're coming up, and you will happen upon them. But they are definitely set pieces, so it's not necessarily. I think they're on the map. You just don't know they're there. Does that make sense? So it's not like the game randomly drops something in front of you. It's more that they're kind of preset throughout the world, and you may or may not come upon them depending on how you go about your travels. And you can't ignore them, or you can interact and go forward with them. There are monsters in the world that inhabit areas that you will, like if you go near the waterways, you're very likely to run into drowners, and they respawn, they repopulate areas. So, you'll have those kind of random encounters, but not quite the Red Dead Redemption model.
So, are you talking about like, I don't know if you did it, but in Novigrad, is Novigrad the first area? Is that the first area?
No, Novigrad's not the first area. Novigrad's one of the bigger areas.
Okay, so the first area, I don't know if you come across it, but somewhere near the waterways, there's a guy. This isn't a spoiler, by the way. There's a guy who's like, he says like his cart was robbed or whatever.
Right.
And you've got to go to the cart and investigate what really happened, and there's a bit of a twist and stuff. So like, you mean stuff like that, where there's like,
so there's stuff like that, like I came upon a group of individuals, and it was very random. Like I was not anticipating. I was on my way to something else, and I came upon them, and suddenly I was kind of thrust into a quick little cinematic of there's three individuals, and they're basically kind of giving me kind of their backgrounds, and we're just having a little campfire chat. And suddenly that campfire chat starts going in a different direction, and suddenly you find yourself involved in a conflict.
Yeah.
But that was very much a set piece. Like you had to, it was on the map, and you had, you didn't see it on the map, I should say. But if you ventured into that area on the map, you would encounter it.
Okay.
So that kind of stuff happens, and it's happened to me more than a few times. And you'll almost always know when it's happening, because for the most part it'll break into like a little mini cutscene, so to speak, as you'll kind of have that encounter of first conversation. And oftentimes those conversations can go one of two ways. Either a kind of a compromise settlement kind of conversation, or basically I'm going to kill you all conversation.
Yeah. What kind of Witcher are you playing? Because I'm not taking a lot of money off people so far. Don't know why. I just think that'll be a good thing for me, because I'm making quite a lot of money off selling shit, and I'm not really spending any money. So every time it's like you help a farmer out, and he's like, "I'll give you my savings. I was saving this for my daughter's wedding."
Right.
I'm like, "Nah, keep your money. Because I think to myself, maybe later the guy might pop up and help me out in some way."
Right. And there are times where characters you've run into earlier in the game, you will run into later in the game, and depending on how that interaction went, I can't say for sure, but I'm pretty sure. Well, I know for a fact there's one instance where I literally ran into one individual that I'd run into earlier, and the outcome earlier had been a very bad outcome, and it sparked another bad outcome in the later event. And it was just kind of funny, because it's like, I know you, and I'm like, oh shit. But it's they've done a really good job with The Witcher 3. I'm super excited to continue to play it. The DLC, I have the season pass for it, so I'll be getting the expansions, and I'm looking forward to that very much.
Yeah, I'm playing it through GOG Galaxy for the first time, and it's like a Steam alternative. It's not too bad. It's like Steam, but without all the bullshit, nonsense, garbage, crap that they just throw in there. GOG Galaxy is optional. You download games, you buy games, and that is it. That's all it is. It's like the old Xbox Live Store, on like the 360 before it became nonsense and all garbage and crap on it.
Yeah.
It's just buying games, installing games, playing games. So yeah, GOG Galaxy. If you're not, if you're not tried it, try it out. CD Projekt's on there because it's their thing. So
Speaking of store nonsense, the Xbox.com, the main game store online for their website, man, they need to come up with a way. They have their store set up, and I guess it's now set up kind of like the Apple Store, but you can't sort by date relevance of when games came out.
Yeah.
So
weird.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, if I wanted to find something that came out this week for whatever, I mean, unless I'm completely missing it, I don't see an option on there of how to sort that way. You can sort it easily enough through Xbox Live on the console, but through the actual website, if you're on your Windows 10 machine, or on if you're still on Windows 8, whatever. They don't have a search by date. Search by release date. So you can't see what's just recently come out. You have to, it's like alphabetical or most popular. I think those are the two options. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, I mean, I was on the Xbox app now on my PC, and I've clicked store, and it, like you said, the fucking Windows Store is basically like the Apple Store.
Right.
And it is shit. How are you supposed to find games on this?
You have to type in, you have to search by name. But I like sometimes just to see what new came out. What's new by release date, and you can't.
Yeah, I remember you used to be able to do that on Xbox Live on my 360. You go to like games, and you just be in order of like whatever came out most recent.
And you can do that on the new Xbox Live experience on the consoles. But for whatever reason, in that storefront, no way to search by date. It's just stupid. Anyway,
ridiculous.
Mark. we've gone on about The Witcher 3.
Yeah, just a bit.
You know, let's talk Batman F1 2015. Which would you like to lead with?
Well, the F1 2015 was just sort of like to say I've just done a bit more of it, but there's nothing sort of like new to say on it.
Okay.
We've just done a few more online races with the track guys, so
Right.
I'm still enjoying that.
Okay.
But Batman Arkham Knight, I've actually finished the main story.
Okay.
But I can
Thoughts?
hear everybody's really, really good. But I can hear everybody say, well, why haven't we seen a victory achieved? That is because I've not had any credits yet. I can't really explain
then
too much.
have you had the true final story?
No, well, you have to mop up all the side missions. You know, you got that radial dial with all the other missions.
Wow. So they
there's-
they make you do all the side missions to reach the
Yeah.
ending?
Yeah.
So here's okay. So I think this should be a point of clarification. So you've gone through the main story. You finished the game.
I've finished the main story.
Right.
I've defeated Scarecrow,
Right.
and
Which-
defeated Arkham Knight, and done it all.
Okay. So for those wondering, with the Victories Achieved contest, you can, for an instance like this, where you've actually done the story, you've completed the game,
Yeah, I thought
you
about
can
taking
take
snap
a
of the
picture of
achievement.
the achievement. Exactly.
Yeah, I thought about that. Yeah.
That absolutely is 100% a viable victory achieved. I would never make somebody try and have to go back through and do all of the side quests because that, in essence, is trying to 100% a game. And that's
Yeah,
not
but-
what victory achieved is about.
You know what though? That game is that good. I'm enjoying doing all these
Okay.
side missions. I've done most of them. I've got all the encampment things. I've done all the fire guy missions where it sets the stations on fire.
Okay.
Can't remember what the others are off the top of my head, but yeah, I've done about 6 of them, and I think there's about 12 in there altogether.
All right. You know, it's
Yeah,
throwing me
good.
off, Mark, because your picture is a daytime picture. And so I see like the daylight behind you, and I'm like, oh, it must be early morning for Mark. And I'm like, no, wait, no, that's just his picture. It's middle of the night for you.
Now, I'm sat in my recliner,
Yes.
ready to fall asleep on my mobile phone, using my headset, and it's an Apple product as well, Greg.
Well,
So
at
yeah,
least something worked.
Yeah, Batman Arkham Knight. Yeah, it's absolutely superb. The storytelling is really good. It's hard to talk about it because there's that many spoilers.
Right, and I appreciate you not spoiling it for your
I know,
brother who
yeah.
has not played it yet.
There's a bit of a twist, and I did with the Arkham Knight. You don't know his identity until sort of like you defeat him, but I did guess it and I got it right.
Okay.
But it has got a nice twist to it.
All right.
I've started doing a few. This is what's going to piss me off. To get the 100%, I'm going to have to do all the Riddler stuff.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
Which means races.
Right.
Now, Batmobile, although it's good for the combat and part of the story and that,
Right. It's good for
Racing-
combat, but not for racing.
racing it is fucking shit.
Yeah.
Because they won't let you remap the buttons.
Right.
And when you press the left trigger, it goes into battle mode.
Right.
And the brake is the X button.
Right. And I'm sure
how-
because you've been doing so much F1 2000,
Yep.
you've been going into combat mode constantly.
Yeah. Every racing game or any game involving racing, left trigger is always your brake in it.
Right.
So it's just muscle memory. It's instinct to pull the left trigger. And all of a sudden it goes into battle mode and then bang, you smacked into whatever you're trying to brake against. So, yeah, that's quite annoying. But apart from that, the game's brilliant. It looks great. It sounds brilliant. The voice acting is absolutely superb.
That's next on the list for me, so.
Yeah, I want to tell you all about it, but I can't because it'll ruin it. It'll ruin the story.
Yes, I
There's that many
appreciate you.
spoilers.
Yeah, I appreciate you not doing that. I've been trying to be good about The Witcher 3 as well because basically you and I flip flopped. So
Yeah.
we both have both games. You went Batman, and we both kind of
Yeah.
started playing them at the same time. And I dabbled in Batman, but went back to The Witcher 3, and you went full Batman.
Yeah.
So there's that.
So yeah, highly recommend it. That's going to be my top 5 game of the year for sure as well.
Yeah.
So
It's solid.
very impressed.
It is solid. All right. I guess that just leaves me, and really, I mean, we already talked about The Witcher to nauseum for some of you. So I will just say I have been playing some Toy Soldier War Chest this past week.
Oh yeah, I played the tutorial of that.
Yeah. Look, I love the Toy Story, the Toy Soldier games, Toy Story 2, but Toy Soldier games. I played both previous games. This one, I would say it's just a refinement of the others. I know some people are taking it to task a little bit on the way it's done its pricing structure. So for those that are thinking about getting the game, there's the base game, which is just $15. Then there is you can get the full deluxe edition that is $30, and that includes the G.I. Joe character, the Cobra Commander character, the He-Man character, and the Assassin's Creed character. All of these characters basically are a playable superhero character. So when you're on the battlefield and you're playing toy soldiers, you will... there's like a heat meter, if you will. As you get more and more kills and combos, it starts going up. And once you hit a certain level, you can basically call in this superhero character. In the previous Toy Soldier game, it was like you could call in Rambo. So in this one, you have 4 kind of generic characters that you play with in the base game. And they're like a German World War I general. There's a space... like a kind of Mass Effect-y space soldier woman. There's 2 others that I can't think off the top of my head. One I want to say is like a knight, and then there's a 4th one. But anyway, so they're kind of generic. And then you can do these other kind of really notable ones. So there's the Assassin's Creed Ezio character. There's He-Man. There's G.I. Joe, and there's Cobra Commander. And when you use those playable characters, you also get their armies to go with it, so you'll have all of those army sets to be playing with as your army. You will play against those characters, or those armies, is probably the better way to put it, in the game. So when the base game comes with these 4 generic players, and then you can pay the extra $15 to unlock everybody, or you can buy individual ones for, I want to say it's like $5 a pop. There's no cost savings to buying the deluxe edition, by the way, because the base game is $15, the deluxe edition's $30. So you can buy the deluxe set on its own, bundled together, for $15. So the reality is, I would say buy the base game if you're intrigued and you want to play it, and then if you want to dabble in the other characters, buy them as an expansion if you want. There's no disadvantage to going with just the base game first.
But they've missed a trick there, haven't they, though? Because usually, when they offer it as a bundle, you usually save, say $5. You usually save like one of the DLC packs, don't you?
Yeah,
so it give you a bit of an incentive.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll go back and look at it again before next podcast, but I mean, I am 99.9% positive that's the way it was laid out, and I was a bit surprised by that, because I thought for sure there would be a cost savings to getting the deluxe edition. Then I realized there really wasn't, so I was like, we'll just get the base game. I don't care that I've fought against the He-Man army, which I hate, by the way. They are bastards. It's interesting. There's so the main game basically is you are going up against a rival army that's sending wave after wave of soldiers and infantry and stuff at you, and you have it's a tower defense game. So you set up your tower defenses to combat it, and then you'll have different set pieces that you'll be able to actually use, like a tank or a plane, or one of these elite characters, superhero characters that you can activate. And you get them onto the battlefield, and they just wreak havoc because they're super, they're overpowered, and they're just fun.
I like what they've done with that. You can use that as long as you've got battery power, and you can go around collecting the batteries, can't you, to keep your super guy longer.
Right.
I thought that was quite a good touch. I didn't play Toy Soldiers 1 and 2 much, really, so I wasn't sure if that was in the other games, but... I thought that's quite good.
I want to say it's in the second game. I don't remember if it's in the first game or not, but I think they introduced the superhero characters in the second game, so that's when the batteries started appearing on the battlefield. It looks great. It plays super well. It is challenging. There are survival modes, survival wave modes, where it's kind of like horde mode, but it's endless streams and waves of enemies, and it's kind of like how long can you last, and how high a score can you get before you die. And how you die in this game is that you're defending your toy box, and the enemy is trying to rush the toy box and get into it. And the more soldiers or individuals they can get into the toy box, the more your ticker count goes down. You start at 100. Once you get to 0, it's game over. So in the survival modes, you're going to lose eventually. It's just when. And then in the main mission campaign modes, you have to survive X amount of waves and keep your base safe. And then once you survive that, you win that match and you move on. And usually you'll win bonus stuff that you can add to your armies, and or money that you can then use to unlock other items on the different armies.
Yeah, I've noticed on the Xbox Store they actually sell the currency,
right?
Which is a bit cheeky.
Yeah,
for reals money.
And straight up, there is no need to buy anything extra. I mean, seriously, do not buy extra coins. You will get enough coins in game to unlock stuff. I honestly would say don't buy unless you really want to play as the G.I. Joe army. There's really no need to buy the G.I. Joe pack. There's no need to buy the Assassin's Creed pack. You will face these other armies in the game. So that's my advice. It's a solid game. I'd give it probably an 8 if I was going to rate it with a review. It's not a huge step above. Visually it looks great, but I'm not going to say when I started playing it, I was like, oh my god, this looks so much better than the last one. It looks similar. It still looks good though, and it plays smooth. So there's that.
There's one feature I like in it. And I think they did that in the second one by what I recall, but not all tower defense games do this. You can actually take control of a turret and actually use it in like a first-person shooting mode.
Yes.
And that's quite enjoyable. I like that.
In fact, you have to do that to actually get your power meter up.
Right.
So your power meter won't go up unless you're actually manning one of your turret stations.
Right, yeah.
And I would say also the game is probably almost impossible to beat if you're not manning a turret station at some point or another. So, but if you like tower defense games, it is definitely one of the better ones out there, especially on console. So, highly recommend checking it out. The backwards compatibility, the previous Toy Soldiers game is backwards compatible. So if you're in the preview program right now, you probably can get access to that, or maybe buy that on the cheap if you want to just experience it at a low cost. So, all right, there's that. That's done. What we've been playing, done. Guess what? We have a news quiz.
Uh-oh.
Yes. Mark, it's good. It's good that you came, because if you hadn't joined...
Richard had won.
Rich, well, here was the deal. Rich had 6 opportunities to win if you hadn't been here. I told him I couldn't just award him a point. He would have to at least get one of the questions right in order to win the news quiz.
Yeah.
So, but, this is interesting. So as it stands right now, Mark, you have 7 news quiz wins. You are up there. You are
right.
You're top dog right now. You're here defending your crown. But Nicole and Mr. Webster both on your heels, both at 4.5 points. And then we have Mike Chin, oddly enough. Mike Chin at 3.5 points. Fraser at 2.5. And then Robin at 2, along with the guest spot. And then Kim on the board at 1 point. So here we go. No funny business, just straight up news quiz questions.
Greg, who's winning again?
That would be Mark.
Me.
Okay. Cool.
I've not seen any news this week, though. I'm going to struggle this week.
Rich, you're
Am I second?
You are tied for second, Rich. Yes. You are in striking distance, my friend. Striking distance. This could be a blow to Mark's lead right here. Here we go. Mark, you are up first.
Okay.
Mark, Square Enix. I suppose I can put this into the chat window, by the way. For those at home watching this live, you can play along with this. If I do this right and not screw up on my screen like I just did.
Yeah, I'll turn my chat off so I can't see them.
All
Yeah,
right.
because I can't see anything because I'm sat on my sofa.
There you go.
All right, so there will be no cheating in that regard. But here we go. For those at home, never mind. It doesn't want to paste. Why does it not want to paste? Here we go. There we go. I think it helps if I use the right keyboard. I have two keyboards in front of me. I'm hitting the wrong button. All right, Mark, Square Enix is shutting down its game streaming service in Japan, Mark. What is the name of this streaming service? Is it A, Dive In, B, Jump In, or C, Swing In?
We've got a game streaming service.
Yes,
That's
indeed.
news to me.
Yes, indeed.
I can't see. Oh, right. I'm going to use a bit of logic here, so I'm going to get it wrong. Jump In is a Xbox catchphrase type thing. They use it on their thing, so I think that might be trademarked. What were the other two, Greg? Sorry.
Dive In, Jump In, or Swing In?
I'll say Dive In.
Mark, right. You're starting off on a positive note. Yes, indeed. Square Enix is shutting down Dive In. It is the game streaming service it introduced last year. So just under a year.
Wow,
they're shutting it down.
That's a bit of a flop, isn't it?
Yeah, they launched it out in Japan. It will cease to exist on September 13th, less than a year after being launched.
OnLive didn't own them, did they?
No, well, yeah. But yeah, so interesting. So yeah, it was designed to let people rent titles such as the Season of Mystery or Final Fantasy 13 on their iOS or Android devices. And you'd pay for each game depending on the play time, but you could also test them for 30 minutes at no cost, which was kind of a nice little perk. But sadly, no more Dive In. But well done, Mark. You are on the board. Rich, he's putting pressure on you.
No pressure at all. I'm
No
with my brew. I'm
pressure.
fucking chilling here.
You got your brew. You're chilling. All right, Rich, are you ready? Here comes your question. All right, Rich. A new feature was recently revealed for Super Mario Maker. What was it? Is it A, custom sound recording, B, imported character mods, or C, a profit-sharing model for sold mod maps?
I didn't actually see this news, Greg, and it wasn't on my radar at all. So I don't know what alley you crawled up to find this.
That should be up your alley as well, shouldn't it, with mods?
Well, yeah, you'd think so. You would think so, Mark.
You would, wouldn't you, yeah?
I'm going to have to go with the first one because it's the custom sound recording, imported character mods, and profit sharing. This is my logic, okay? Nintendo don't like to share profit with anybody. They're notorious for that. They've taken down like Angry Joe videos because they showed Nintendo gameplay. Nintendo are very closed. They're very much like Apple, so I can't see them allowing mod stuff. So let's just go with the first one, custom sound recording.
Rich, that flawed logic somehow is good logic. Yes, well done. No, I wouldn't even say it was flawed logic, Rich. I think that was spot on. Yes, no, the new feature for the Super Mario Maker that is launching on September 11th is going to be basically pre-recorded, but sorry, as I'm taking a step back, you'll be able to record sounds to your own Mario levels alongside pre-recorded noises and musical notes, so you can basically do your own thing if you want. Or use what they have done. So yeah, it's one of the new features that was just shown off in a new 7-minute overview video from this past week. And I'm telling you, man, Super Mario Maker is starting to sound more and more intriguing to me.
Yeah, it looks cool. I like how you can switch the graphics from like old to like new. It looks really nice.
I always find that to be a very nice touch, especially for, I mean, obviously Halo did it with the Master Chief remake stuff for Halo Anniversary, excuse me, 1 and 2. and it's always amazing to see what because in your head, I think you always think, it didn't look that, it looked pretty good back, it looked good, and then you look at it and you're like, ooh, it really didn't look that good. I mean, when I look at Halo, the original Halo game, I'm like, oh, that looked like ass.
Yeah, some of those facial textures and
Oh, yeah.
animations and stuff.
I don't even think we can call it facial textures, Rich.
No.
All right. Well, we are tied at one apiece. This is exciting. Mark, here we go. Are you
Yep.
ready for your next question?
I am ready.
All right. For those viewing at home, here we go. Mark's third question. Mark, Halo Wars 2, if I could only speak. Halo Wars 2 was not the only surprise from Gamescom around games with a 2 in it. What other game got a surprise announcement this past week? Was it Resident Evil 2 Remake, B, Resistance 2 HD Remaster, or C, Test Drive Unlimited 2 HD?
Ooh.
Yes, which of these 3 possible titles was actually announced this past week?
Didn't the test drive developers go tits up?
Mark, I
think
cannot say anything.
Yeah,
I'm
and I
sworn
know
to
the
silence.
servers. Yeah, the servers suffered like shit, didn't they, as well? I think I'll rule that one out. So we've got what we were two. Sorry,
There
it's
is
a nightmare not having the screen in front of me.
Resident Evil 2 Remake, Resistance 2 HD Remaster, or, as you were scoffing at, Test Drive Unlimited 2 HD.
Yeah. I'm sure I've seen something somewhere about Resident Evil 2, so I'm going to go for that one.
Mark, right. Well played, my friend. Yes, indeed. It was confirmed that Resident Evil 2 remake and remaster, if you will, actually just a remake, is going to be in the works, and it's already in the works. So that's pretty exciting news. I know a lot of people feel like that's one of the best games out of the Resident Evil series. So it is getting a remake. And yeah, we'll see. We shall see. Rich, that puts some pressure on you. It puts a little bit of pressure on you. Are you up for it? Rich, you're muted, by the way.
I'm muted, apparently.
That's the pressure getting to him.
Yes.
I'm always up for it, Greg. I went on the Destination Gamer podcast the other week and just crushed it. The news, and we did a guess the question, and I crushed it. So I am the news man.
Okay.
Greg.
All
Except
right.
when I don't know it. Except when I don't know the answer. Then I'm
right. I was pulling news from all different kinds of places this past week. So here we go. Rich, your question. Formerly known as the Steam Boy, what is the new name for the only handheld Steam machine coming this fall? Is it A, the Steam Grip, B, the VoxBox, or C, the Smack Zero?
So let me just tell you a little story.
Let me tell you a story.
Let me tell you a story. These guys got together and they wanted to make a Steam machine, handheld console that could play Steam games. It won't be playing The Witcher, but it will probably be playing Super Meat Boy. They came out with a pretty good idea and it looked pretty sexy, and then they didn't really show anything else for about a year. By the way, I could just be completely wrong with all this. They came out recently with this new thing and they showed their handheld, and it has the original Steam controller that had those circle pads.
Right.
It's got them. With a new name, and it's probably the worst name I've ever heard in my life, the Smack Zero. Or Smash Zero.
Yes.
Absolutely.
That is a shit name.
Shit.
Yeah, Rich, you are absolutely 100% spot on. Yes. I want to say Smack, just because I can't believe it would be anything other than that. But yes, it could be Smash Zero device. It will be running the Valve Steam OS. It features a 5-inch 720p screen, 32 gigabytes of on-board storage, plus an SD card slot, 4 gigabytes of RAM, HDMI out on a configurable gamepads, and it has Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and on the Pro model, 4G for the true on-the-go gaming experience. And it says it will promise access to over 1,000 Steam games, except for The Witcher 3. And it'll be coming during Q4 of 2016, starting at $2.99.
I can imagine that maybe they weren't allowed to use the word Steam in their name.
Maybe.
But they could have come up with a better name than Smack Zero. And let's be honest now, they're saying over 1,000 games. There's like 1,000 new games every day.
Yeah.
So that's not really many games. It's like...
No.
Oh, God. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry's got like 1,000 games in their Steam library. And I don't know. I mean, it could be cool, don't get me wrong. But if they're going to ask for fucking £400 for this garbage, then no one's going to buy it. I'd rather have a 3DS, which I may be buying this year, Greg. I like to get me DS. I've been playing a lot of Pokemon these past couple of weeks. Put 40 hours into Pokemon Soul Silver, whilst putting 14 hours into The Witcher 3. When have I slept? Anyway, Smack Zero.
All right, Smack Zero it is. I'm excited because right now we have a tie. 2 questions left. We might be going tiebreaker.
See, me and Mark are the news champions.
You are news champions. Mark.
What happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object? It's like Batman and Joker.
This is gonna be these questions. I wonder for this particular audience, and I say audience as in you two, how well these are going to be suited for you. Mark, here is your question.
Yep.
Blizzard has announced their long-awaited expansion in the wake of revelations that its user base has dropped to just about 5 million active users, which, by the way, is still pretty much better than any other MMORPG out there. What is the name of the new expansion? Is it A, The Fallen, B, Broken Swords, or C, Legion?
Oh, shit.
Just in case you're wondering, Mark, I know the answer to this one. No pressure.
I know the answer to your next question.
Oh, snap.
Oh, man, alive.
The Fallen, Broken Swords, or the Legion?
The Fallen rings a bell. I don't know why. Probably because of frigging Destiny. I'm gonna get it. Oh yeah, I'm gonna say the Fallen. It's the only thing that jumps out at me.
All right, Mark Wright. You just left the door wide open for Richard Webster.
Oh, no!
Yeah, it is Legion. The next expansion is called Legion, and in addition to it will bump the max player level to 110, up from 100, and it will introduce a new continent, the Broken Isles, it has a new character class also, for those that are wondering, an all-new Demon Hunter hero class. So excitement for those World of Warcraft players out there. Mr. Webster, this is it. This is your moment.
This is my perfect moment.
Right.
Mark, I think you were thinking of The Fallen because they are the adversary in the PlayStation 1 game, Urban Chaos.
Oh.
That's what comes to mind to me.
Yeah, but also an enemy in Destiny.
Yeah,
I see.
So, but yeah, I didn't know. I'm not a World of Warcraft player or fan. So,
but we talk about all kinds of gaming news here, including some of my favorite type of news, which is numbers news.
Oh my God, numbers!
Richard Webster,
34 million.
Richard Webster. Yes, the July NPD report came out. This is the North American Product Devices Report, something like that. I don't know. I think I just made that completely up. But it is the July NPDs, which they report the top 10 software for North American sales. Rich, which software title took the number 1 spot in the top 10 software? Is it A, Batman Arkham Knight, B, Minecraft, or C, Lego Jurassic World? And I will just say this, Rich, it is according to the NPD report, which is the number 1 software game for July?
I get my news.
Rich.
I get most of my NPD numbers, not just from Podcast Unlocked, but also from Naomi Kyle and the lovely Jess from GameSpot. The 2 people you do not want to listen to numbers from because you do not listen to the numbers. I'm afraid you listen to nothing.
Right. You just stare at the screen.
You stare at them, yeah.
In fact, you probably mute them.
You know, I can't remember what it is, but you know, like there's a film or a TV show years ago where like when like sex was on the table or something, and the guy would like look up at the sky and like a light would shine on him, and like choir would be like ah hee hoo. That's what yeah. Anyway, it's not what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be Rare Replay, but that might be from last week only. So that might be what I'm thinking of. Batman Arkham Knight, if they include the ones included in the PS4 bundle, it could be Batman Arkham Knight because the PS4 Batman Arkham Knight bundle did really well. Minecraft, Jurassic World, I'm going to go Batman Arkham Knight.
All right. Let's count down from 10 to 1 and see if
you're going to
Mr.
tease us,
Webster...
aren't you,
Oh,
Greg?
heck yeah. So at number 10, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Just hanging on for dear life at number 10. Number 9, FIFA 15. Still kicking around. Pun intended. Mortal Kombat X comes in at number 8. Destiny coming in at number 7. The Elder Scrolls Online, apparently it's still a thing, is at number 6. Rory McIlroy PGA Tour at number 5. Grand Theft Auto 5 at number 4. And just to add a little sauce to this mix, Rich, all 3 of those games were in the top 3.
Yeah, I thought they would be, Greg. I could see where you were going with this.
Yes, all right. Rich, at number 3, Minecraft, the game that keeps selling. Rich, at number 2, in the NPD software sales numbers, Batman Arkham Knight.
Oh, gutted.
And at number 1, Lego Jurassic World. Now, Rich, and this is why I made the caveat. Yeah. If you included bundle sales, which the NPDs do not, they did say that Batman Arkham Knight was easily the best-selling title in July. But
oh, well, you see, I was right then. See, my knowledge of the industry is pretty spot on, you see, but I did not get the distinction between software sales, because Batman is software. Just like remember when we classed Wii Sports as software for Frasier a little while ago?
Well, yeah,
so
Frasier.
I'm going to take that as a little spiritual victory for me.
I will do this. I'm going to put some pressure on Mark. Mark, I will give you the ability to say you will give him that point and force the tiebreaker, or you can be a greedy bastard and not do the tiebreaker.
No, if I gave him it, he'll win. I think we should do the tiebreaker.
Oh, that's true. That's right. I forgot. You did. Yeah. All right. Yes. We're going to a tiebreaker. Screw what I said. Losing my mind. All right. Let us go full screen. Just a real quick recap on the NPD numbers, because there was some interesting stuff that came out besides the Batman Arkham Knight stuff. Royal McIlroy PGA Tour's first month sales exceeded Tiger Woods PGA Tour 14 by close to 70%. Wii U software sales were up by 10% this year compared to the first 7 months of 2014. So apparently the Wii U is experiencing a little bit of an uptick. Splatoon sold nearly 85,000 units this month, which means in July and its previous month, it's now at nearly 540,000 units. So decent numbers for a Wii U title, for sure, especially a new IP. After 21 months, combined Xbox One and PS4 hardware sales are close to 50% higher than the combined sales totals of the Xbox 360 and PS3 after 21 months on the market.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, next gen definitely doing well. And accessory sales were up 70% year over year. So again, things really bidding well for the industry. Interactive figures, by the way, the Amiibos of the world, the Disney Infinity characters, they're up 42%. So all on the rise. PlayStation 4 was the top selling hardware. The Xbox One was up 44% year over year compared to its previous year, which estimates based off of kind of what people were able to figure out, that's about 189,000 units sold. So good numbers for July for sure. And obviously PlayStation 4 had better numbers than that. We don't know how much better, but they were better. And the 3DS up nearly 35% in 2015 compared to the first 7 months of 2014. So Nintendo at least projecting upwards, which is great news for them. We've been seeing them struggle for quite some time, so it's nice to see some good news on their end. All right, tiebreaker. Here's how this is going to work. Rich, on this paper, I have written either a 1 or a 2. I'm going to give you the opportunity, Rich. No, you get the opportunity to say odd or even, or 1 or 2, depending on how you want to do it. And then you have the choice of either going first or second.
Oh, right. I thought that was going to be the tiebreaker.
No, that is not the tiebreaker. I have a proper tiebreaker. So, Rich, 1 or 2?
I know you very well, Greg. I know 100% that you would have written number 2.
Two it is. Rich, do you want to go first or do you want to go second?
I'll go second.
All right, Mark.
Oh, no.
Mark, the tiebreaker question. Closest without going over. All right? How many characters were featured in the original Mortal Kombat game?
Oh, fuck.
And I have a bonus question for you.
What are the bonuses? Name them all.
The bonus will be for whoever gets this correct.
Yeah.
Or wins.
Oh, I have no idea. The very first original one.
The very first original Mortal Kombat. How many characters were featured in that game?
I will say 8.
All right. You were locked in at 8. Richard Webster, what number are you going to give?
I'll say 10.
Richard Webster, you are on the nose. It is 10. 10 indeed.
I was going to say 10 as well, but I thought Mortal Kombat X.
Yes. Now, Rich, this is a tough one, but if you get this, I will give you an extra point. That's how tough this is. All right.
Name them all.
No.
That was it.
No. Rich, and you might even think this is even tougher.
Okay.
Liu Kang, the character Liu Kang, has appeared in every Mortal Kombat game except which one? If you can name the Mortal Kombat game he has not appeared in, I will give you a full extra point.
I don't know Mortal Kombat games. I only played the first couple or whatever on the Mega Drive. I've not played one since. So, I will say, with full certainty, he was in the first one. Trying to see your face to see what happens. He was definitely in the second one, and he probably wasn't in the third one. So let's go with the third one, just as a guess. Why not? Let's be homos and just
let's be homos, and we'll take a shot at it.
I'm just gonna go 3 because I don't know.
Well, no. In fact, he was in Mortal Kombat 3. Scorpion, oddly enough, missing from Mortal Kombat 3. No, Liu Kang did not appear in Mortal Kombat Deception. So there you go. That was the 8th game in the series.
8 games!
Oh, they're well beyond that. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 total Mortal Kombat games so far.
13?
Yes.
Oh, well, what's the Mortal Kombat X then? So I thought that was the 10th game.
You would think. Yeah. No, there was Mortal
Where's
Kombat.
The logic?
Yeah, so there's if I have all the kind of like little acronyms in front of me, but there's Mortal Kombat, Mortal Kombat 2, 3,
I'm not bothered.
K3. Yeah, so there's Mortal Kombat versus DC. Remember that one? That would be one of those, but it wasn't really a numbered title. So yeah. Interesting side note, the only character to have been in every game was...
I can name this one.
All right,
Scorpion.
name it.
No, it ain't Scorpion, he won in third, was it?
I think it was Sub-Zero.
It was indeed Sub-Zero. Yes.
See, I do know something.
Yeah. Doesn't get you an extra point, though.
I just want to touch on 2 things in the news that you didn't, or 2 or 3 things in the news really quickly that you didn't touch on, Greg, with this news quiz.
No worries, no worries.
Yeah,
Fallout 4.
Fallout 4. Oh, of course, I didn't touch on Fallout 4 news. I was saving it for you, Rich.
In case people weren't aware, at Gamescom, Bethesda showed off a demo, 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever, of Fallout 4 to the crowd. And it got bootlegged and leaked all over the place. And it got leaked to Pornhub.com.
Yes.
Because it's porn and because people masturbate over it anyway, why not? The person that did it probably did it, we are surmising as a gaming industry, is because it's probably harder to get stuff taken down from Pornhub. That's number one. And two, there's way worse things on there, like anal stuff and gimp masks and people pretending to be plumbers, of all things. So yeah, it was leaked onto Pornhub. It's now been taken down, apparently. So if anyone, while you're on Pornhub listening to this show right now, don't start going to different things. Just continue watching the normal things on Pornhub.
And don't let us know you were there while you were watching
please
this.
Don't let us know. The other thing I want to just quickly touch on is what we didn't touch on as blokes. We are 3 men.
Right.
And recently, the biggest sporting competition on the planet started.
Yes.
Men everywhere
right.
are now going sick over this. What do you think I'm talking about?
Basically the first official female pro gamer.
No.
No?
Not even close. And I thought you might say like
the Football League?
Yeah, I was hoping for that answer, Mark. But it's not the answer. I was using an analogy that was completely incorrect. Just to throw you off, it was the Dota 2 International.
Ah, yes.
Obviously,
right.
The team that won.
Obviously,
spoilers. If you don't want to know the winner, just mute your ears for like 5 seconds. Here we go. The winner was Evil Geniuses. They won a combined amount of $6 million between them.
And
that will buy you a massive Pornhub subscription. It
will. And I believe, if I'm not correct in this, were they not the first quote-unquote American team to win?
Probably, yeah. I don't pay attention to that.
I know there's
no nation boundaries in my view of the world.
Yeah, I don't know that they're officially like an American team, but I think they're an American, like a American company is sponsoring them. So I could be wrong, but I believe that's what I heard.
Yeah, and one of them was sporting a neck pillow, which has now made fashion. A lot of people wear neck pillows now, according to Brian Altano, my friend Brian Altano, on our colleagues at IGN.
I was shopping the other day down the aisles with a neck pillow.
Rebooted Up at Noon, haven't they?
Yes.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Have you watched it?
I didn't see it, no, but I'm going to watch it, because I used to like watching Up at Noon with Greg Miller. Yeah. And I've always liked Brian Altano, so yeah, I'm going to watch it.
He's grown on me. He's grown on me.
He's just a really funny guy. He's very witty. He has witticisms. It's worth watching. It's very, very funny. I laughed out loud a lot this morning when I put it on. I like to watch. I've incorporated, because TV's going really shit lately, and especially because all the seasons are off, like Game of Thrones and all the rest of it that I watch, they're all off. So I'm watching a lot of YouTube content, and there's quite a lot of high-quality stuff on YouTube these days. Yeah. You know, actual TV shows, not just like Monkey Rides a Baby Pig stuff.
Which, by the way, Monkey Rides a Baby Pig, I mean...
Fucking awesome.
Can't go wrong with that.
Yeah. I'm Googling it right now.
I won the news quiz.
All right. Yes, you did, Rich. Well done. You are now inching closer.
Am I tied? Am I tied with Mark now?
Not tied with Mark.
Nearly.
You are nearly. You're nipping at his heels. You have 5.5 points now, Rich. He's at 7, so you're 1.5 points away.
Must have been on that month I took off and went.
Yeah, it was
helping those kids in Africa.
Well, you did actually. You missed about 3 weeks in a row, and Mark went on this tear.
Yeah.
And he won 3 weeks in a row. It was insane.
Can I take those schools back that I built in Africa? No, but I can try and win the news quiz again.
All right. Well, let us move on. We're into that final stretch of the show. Let's talk about some of the community stuff. Games coming up that we can play. There's a big list coming. I noticed that earlier. It's a huge list. Yes, this is kind of the kickoff time.
I'm glad I can't see the show notes. I can't read it out.
Yeah. Rich, do you want to take a stab at this, or would you like me to?
I'll read it, Greg. I'm happy to read it.
It's daunting. It's daunting.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's just a lot of underlined stuff. New releases for the 15th to the 21st of August. That's this week, people. If you're not paying attention and you're living under a rock. The Adventures of Pip on the PS4. Armicrog on the PC. See what I mean about thousands of shit games every day. The Bridge is on everything PlayStation and also Ouya, who was Ouya bought by recently? Was it Facebook? Someone bought Ouya, didn't they? Or did Ouya buy someone?
No, Ouya was being bought up, but it was just their... they didn't want the actual device.
Oh my god!
I think they just wanted, they wanted some of the back end tech. That was pretty much it.
Oh god! That's like going out with a girl just for just for a body, not a face.
Right.
Wear a face mask. Anyway, the bridge. Yep, that's what. Curse and Chaos on the PS4 and the Vita. Final Fantasy Type 0 on the PC, which is looking all right. Helldivers Super Earth Ultimate Edition is on the PS4 disc with a PS3 and Vita digital code as well. Pure Hold'em on the PlayStation 4 coming August 18th on the PC, August 20th on the Xbox One, August 21st. We've got Resident Evil Revelations 2 on the PlayStation Vita on August 18th. Tales from the Borderlands Episode 4. Escape Plan Bravo. Sounds made up, but it's not. That's coming out on everything. Volume on the PS4, the Vita, and the PC. Zombie is on the Xbox One, PS4, and PC. Bob Was Hungry on the PC. Again, shit games on the PC. I'm only messing.
Bob is
Never heard of
always
this game
hungry.
before.
Yeah,
Bob is
poor
always
Bob.
hungry.
It might be good. Black Ops 3 Beta, because they have those. PS4, August 19th. Smite is finally coming to Xbox One. Greg, are you excited?
It's finally getting released. I'm curious
I
to see
thought
what
that had been released.
No, it's been
Is
in
it still in
beta.
beta?
It's been beta this whole time, yeah.
Mater.
Beta, not
Smite.
beta.
Smite makes a lot of money. They have some good tournaments. They're like the underdog of the MMO world. Not
Right.
MMO, sorry. The MOBA world.
MOBA, yes.
Yeah, MOBA, yeah.
Like the underdog.
I've had a couple of goes on that, but I can get sort of like you go through the lanes, whatever they're called.
Right.
You get to the sort of like the end Titan. They have Titans, don't
Right.
they? But then once you get to the Titan, you get absolutely fucking annihilated.
Well, you're supposed to
It's
play with
rock
other
hard.
people, Mark. You're supposed to, you know.
Yeah. I suppose.
I suppose.
Not for me.
All right.
Yeah, it's one of them MOBA type games people sometimes play. Velocity 2X on the Xbox One and PC.
Velocity 2X. Now, I've played this on PS4, and it is a really, really good game. So, all you Xbox One players out there, you want to get this game because it is really, really good.
And PC players.
And PC, yeah.
Yes.
Double
I'm
bonus.
guessing it's like things going fast
It's
and poisonous things going
No,
fast.
what it is you got this little spaceship and you're going through and you can teleport into different areas. It's constantly scrolling, so you've got to make sure you don't get trapped at the bottom of the screen. And
It's
then
a constant
you can
runner.
Yeah, and then you can dock at certain areas, and then you're on foot, and it's like a 2D platformer.
All
Really
right.
cool.
Okay.
Really, really cool.
Sounds like a game that doesn't know what it wants to be. We've got The Bridge on the Wii U. We've got Rhymed Racer on the PC. What? The Flock, which apparently is really quite good. And there will come a point where you won't be able to do something in it, or you won't be able to play it anymore because once so many people die, that's it. The game ends. It's dead. It's dead, people. Just play it now or never. LBX, Little Battlers Experience on the 3DS. Risen 3 Enhanced Edition, the game that nobody asked for, is on the PlayStation 4. Super Mega Baseball, extra innings, people. If baseball wasn't long enough, you've now got extra
You get
innings.
extra innings.
I remember watching the Yankees versus the Mets, and it went on about 6 hours, and they were on like 6 innings, and I was like, when the fuck is this going to end? I've got to go to school. That's coming out on the PC, and that's the release schedule for this week.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much, Rich. All right. Let us travel forward. Obviously, we have put the golf club on a summer holiday. The Clan Wars thing, if you do like Clash of Clans, there is a G4TE clan. Check out, go check out Bongo the Sane or OC_Amaryllis. I forget the clan
Jade
leaders.
Archer.
Yeah, Jade Archer. What
Jade
is her?
Archer, yeah.
Is it just Jade Archer?
Yeah, again, it's sort of like Jade Archer, all one word.
Okay. Jade
real
Archer.
name's
She's
Janine.
the clan leader. Yes, Janine. Let's see. We are epic. If you are in the mood to record a video, and let's say it was 30 seconds in length, and then you thought to yourself, God, I wish I could put this somewhere where maybe I'd have a chance to win some money to buy games. We have a solution for you. It is on our Facebook page. We are epic. So all you got to do is type into your browser. I love this stuff because you type into the browser epic.g4te.com and you hit enter, and magically you are going to be teleported right to our Facebook page, and you will see right in front of you this thing. We are epic, and all you got to do is post up your video into that, and you will just by that virtue be put into a contest. The videos are going to be judged, so make sure it's a decent 30-second clip of something epically awesome or epically failing. and maybe you're going to be selected to win $20 either on Steam, on PSN, or on Xbox Live. So there you go. It's super easy. Mark,
Yes.
we have these hot lap challenges going on.
Yes.
Talk to me about that.
We've got a Project Cars one, which is for the whole of August.
Right.
The track is. Please read it out, Greg, because I haven't got my show notes.
That's right. Yes, the Caldwell Park Club Circuit. Yes.
Yeah, Cadwell Park.
Cadwell.
Caldwell.
And
Cadwell.
Cadwell.
The car is, if I remember rightly, a Ford Sierra RS500 Cosworth.
Yes, nicely done.
Yes. So all you need to do is submit a photograph of your fastest lap in the time trial mode of the game.
Right.
And tweet that to @Gonzo_FK.
Yeah.
That's Gonzo_FK.
And
We've also
this,
got.
It should be
Sorry?
noted that these times are like no joke times.
No, the
Stone
fast
Deaf. Stone Deaf right now
Yeah.
is leading the pack as far as I know. That's at least the last update we had. 1 minute 2 seconds .969. And second place, nipping his heels at 1 minute 3 seconds .820 by Gonzo FK. So
Yeah. And just for the record, that car and that track, that car is a fucking bitch to handle. It is really loose at the back end. So they've done really well to get a clean lap in, let alone get the times they've got.
yeah.
So, yeah, so that goes on to the end of the month.
Okay.
We've got a 2-week hot lap challenge on F1 2015. And
Which-
this is cross-platform.
Yes, it technically ends today, Mark. So
No, it doesn't.
it says, oh no, the 22nd. My bad. I'm
Yeah,
reading your
yeah.
crazy British date.
yeah, it ended in May, according to you.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is the second track of the season, which is Malaysia
Yep. Malaysia Sepang International.
International. Yep. And you can use any car. You do this in the time trial mode again.
Right.
And there are some insane times on this as well.
Yeah.
What you need to do is make sure you've got, if you're on Xbox One, make sure you've got David the Alien on your friends list so you can see the leaderboards. And if you're on PS4, make sure you've got Morty 1884 on your friends list.
Right.
If you haven't, just send them a friend's request and a little note saying you want to take part in the Hot Lap Challenge, and then they can get your scores.
Yeah. And also, if you're setting up your car and it's raining, make sure you have your dry track tires on. That always works well.
Yeah, but this time trial you can select dry or wet. It's not a random weather effect, and we're doing dry times only. So
well, that just
that shoots your theory down in flames.
Pretty much.
But yeah, I've done a few laps on this. I like this track, but there's a couple of bends in it which they're really tight and they're hard to get around. My fastest time is a 1:43, which is 6 seconds off of the guys who are sort of like currently at the top. I know Ortiz and Taftman and that, they're all on 1:37s, I think.
Yeah, they're fast.
Is that right, Greg?
I don't have any times in front of me. I could not tell you.
Oh, right, yeah. So,
There's not been an update to that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah. I think it's on the Facebook page, actually, the times at the moment. But yeah, if you just make sure you got them two guys on your friends list, David the Alien on Xbox One and Morty 1884, and you've got one more week left.
One
So good luck
more
with that.
week.
Yeah.
All right, victories achieved. That's the last big announcement for us. This is a contest that, similar to our Facebook page, we're giving away money. You have to the end of October for this one. All you have to do is complete a game like Mark did, where he finished Batman, and you can take a picture of the end credits or the completion trophy showing you finished the story mode, or the completion achievement. And take a picture of that with your face in there somewhere. We'd like to see your smiling mug.
Yeah. So if you're following me, after this show, I will be doing exactly that. So you can look at my example, and that is how you do it.
There you go. So it's super easy. Send it over to @g4te.com on Twitter. You got to spell the dot. That's super important. @g4te.com. And you send that off, and you will get an opportunity like these fine individuals to win $20 on your favorite service. Teflon 12 finished Shovel Knight. John Mouse finished Lego Marvel Superheroes. Amras 89 finished Rare Replay Battletoads Arcade.
Hang on.
Yeah, I have to question this one. Well,
So is he going to claim all 30 bloody games in that one pack?
you know what? He can, because there's 30 individual games in that pack.
Sly bugger.
There's 10,000 achievement points in there. There's individual game achievements. So yeah, no, it's legit.
I suppose we're doing it with Master Chief Collection, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. Yeah. In fact, Bongo the Sane jumped on there with rare replay Saberwolf. Chris MJW finished Ratchet and Clank 3. It's Shiny here finished Alien Isolation.
He was streaming that. It looked quite good actually.
Was he screaming while he was streaming? That's the question.
He was screaming and streaming, baby. Yep.
And Batch Gaming also finished Destiny. So there you go. What little story there is in Destiny, he finished it. Yes, that's my take.
I'm looking forward to the DLC now.
Everybody and their mother apparently still is.
Yeah.
All right. If you want to take part in this show, like I said in the beginning of the hour, or I guess hour and a half now, all you have to do is jump on to your favorite browser, type in live.g4te.com. While we're podcasting, you'll be magically taken to our Twitch page where you can watch us podcast on a weekly basis, Saturdays for the foreseeable future. 3 p.m. PST, 11 p.m. UK time. So figure it out. Use your watch. Use your math. It is not a subtract 5 situation. You can email the podcast at g4te.com, like Shannon did, letting us know that he holds no grudges about our insensitivity towards his name.
He sent an email.
Yes, he did. You can tweet the podcast at OC_podcast, and we usually are pretty responsive there as well. We have a Facebook page, as we talked about before, fb.g4te.com, or if you're really looking for the We Are Epic Challenge, just type in epic.g4te.com. Green Men Gaming, we have some 20% vouchers available, so you have to go to gmg.g4te.com. We have all these subdomains that, courtesy of our good friend Dorian, makes it easy for you. Jump onto that, and then it will tell you how to get to your 20% voucher. You can donate to the show, because we do give away prizes. We don't ask for any donations for actual running the show, just towards the prize fund. That's where we take those. Donate.g4te.com, and that will go towards a good cause, us. The gamers, the listeners.
Giveth in one hand and taketh in another.
Yes, and not the podcast staff, I will say. We're not part of that loop. So it is going back to you, the community. iTunes and Stitcher, that's a place where you can find us on rewind, if you will. So if you don't have the time to watch us live, give us some reviews when you're watching it on tape. Or I should say listening to it on tape. You can also check us out on YouTube. We do have a YouTube channel. We post out the podcast to that as well. So there we go. All right, that's it. Let's wrap it up. Speed round, shout-outs. Mark, let's talk shout-outs for Apple.
Yeah, I was going to say I'd like to shout out Apple computers and Skype because for some reason tonight they don't like each other.
They were oil and water.
Yeah, apologies if the audio quality of my voice is not on par as normal, but I am using my supplied headset with my phone.
Yeah.
I also want to shout out Chris and Dave from Track Racing Forum. They do most of the running of the racing leagues and everything. They did an awesome thing this week. There's a new Formula One league coming up. If you want to join in that, just contact Chris Henwood over at Track Racing Forum or on G4TE. And what they did was to select the teams to see what your teammate was and what team of car you were getting, like Ferrari or Toro Rosso or whatever. They set up, and it must have taken them ages, a thing in Minecraft where you pull a lever and there's all these circuits under the ground you can't see, and a name will light up in the distance. And whichever name was lit up on the two levers you pulled, those are the two teammates. And then you went to bash a block at the back of the area, and and inside was a sign in there with a different makes of cars. So I thought that was genius. It was really, really good.
Awesome. All right.
So that was a long-winded shout out, wasn't it? So yeah, over to Rich.
I haven't really got any shout-outs this week.
That's okay.
You shout out the emergency services.
Right.
Yeah. shout out to the Cheshire Fire Police, Fire and
Fire
Police Service. Yeah, they're amazing. Fire Police.
Yeah.
Cheshire Fire Service and Police for keeping me alive, seeing me through to another day, give me a new perspective on life, making me appreciate things so much so that I am giving away my ticket. I'm giving away my ticket to EGX this year.
That's
Woo!
right. I forgot, Rich. We almost forgot about that. Yes, giving away your
And
ticket to EGX.
It's sold out on that day as well, so this is hot property prizes.
Yes.
But I mean, all you need to do to win this is give me the best blowjob you can possibly give me.
Oh, not again, Rich. I only did one last week.
I'm just kidding. It doesn't have to be the best. Just a blowjob will
Just
do.
any. Yeah. First one to knock on your door and say,
Right.
Yeah.
yes, I'll do it.
Hi,
I
Rich.
have a ticket to go to EGX, the Eurogamer Expo, for Saturday only, which is Saturday, I believe, the 25th of September,
Right.
according to my Windows 10 calendar, which is Gregorian, no less. If you want to win this ticket, if you want to go to Eurogamer on the Saturday, or you have a friend who wants to go and you're going as well, so you want to take them along or whatever, this isn't an early access one. This is just a normal day. All you have to do is just email the show, podcast@g4te.com, or send us a tweet and just tell us what games you're looking forward to seeing at EGX or what games you'd like to play. Just to give you a quick rundown of things, we found out the other day that Star Wars Battlefront's going to be at EGX. The Division's going to be playable there. Just Cause 3, the new Need for Speed. There's tons of stuff. So, yeah, just let us know why you want to go, what you want to play there, and
Right.
you could win a ticket just
Right.
at random. It'll be picked.
Make sure you identify what you're looking forward to at EGX, so we know that is in consideration.
Yeah, and just make sure that you will actually give it to someone, because I had one guy win something and just set fire to it and send a video to me of it on Facebook of him setting fire to this gift that I sent him, and it made me cry. I still had a wank to it because I'll wank to anything, but it made me cry. So yeah,
But
if
you don't want
I mean,
it to go to waste, do you? Because you've spent your hard-earned money on this.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, I just want it to go to someone who wants to go, or like someone might, like I said, someone might be going and they might want to bring a friend and they couldn't go. So, like for
Or they
example,
couldn't
Harvey
get a
Dan,
ticket for the same day, yeah.
yeah, or something like that, you know. And train tickets to Birmingham cost fuck all these days, so you're easy to go. So yeah, if you want to go to EGX on the Saturday, you can win my ticket.
There you go. All right. Get it in there, people. Gentlemen, I would like to thank the two of you. Rich, I want to thank you for being on time and as professional as always. Mark, I want to thank you for jumping through extraordinary hoops to make this podcast work.
Yeah. Oh, before I forget,
Yeah.
can I just say, because I missed the beginning of the show, if you want to get hold of me, I am at Markanix on Twitter, Markanix, and also I am Markanix on every other platform. That's PSN, Xbox Live, and Steam. So, sorry
Mark.
to talk, Greg, but yeah, carry on.
Mark, you may not say that.
Right, okay, I won't say that then.
Thank you. All right.
Okay, no problem.
I want to thank the listeners for tuning in each and every week. It's always fun to have their participation, and obviously, without them, we are just a shell of what we could be. And with that said, I want to say have a great weekend. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
See you later.
In a world where a man plays an
Xbox.
Xbox.
Stat. Present business.
Stat.